Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Pagano, and I'm the host here for Hera Media Group. I have a very interesting woman who's got fascinating things to share with us. And so I want to introduce you to Basuti Bolo. And you are from Botswana, correct?
Yes, I'm from Botswana.
Okay, all right. So I am going to, Basuti, I think we might have a little bit of delay here. There we go. Okay, I think you're back.
Okay.
Don't you love the internet? It always behaves badly when we need it most, you know?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, she's got a lot to tell, and let me just kind of turn it over to her. I want to ask you a question, Basuti. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what we need to know about you.
Yeah, my name is Basuti Gerty Bolo. I come from Botswana. I was born in a small village called Matangani village. And when I grew up, I had the passion of being an astronaut. And also being an astronaut, I didn't know exactly where will I start it. So I started to find out that by studying STEM program, you can be an engineer, you can be somebody who's working for technology. So this is the time that when I started to be more on the STEM program, and I ended up dreaming my career, and also I ended up working on the male environment. So I ended up also being a multi-award winning woman, because I won a digital global award for the UK, and also the Global Leaders Award this year. So that's what I can teach.
Wow. So what made you choose a career in STEM, especially when it's very male dominated?
Yeah, what makes me to choose a STEM program is that I had the passion of doing what is unknown, like the thing that made me to work on STEM, that I wanted to know exactly why other things happen. Like in a space, they will say a space shuttle just disappeared with unknown failure. Sometimes people will say the airplane just crashed, but there is unknown failure. So I wanted to know the reason behind that. So I ended up like falling in love with the space career, like space program, to see exactly what is happening in the space. So by dreaming it and living it, I wanted to know exactly what is happening about these crashes and disappearing of unknown failures. So when I was doing my postgraduate diploma in space and atmospheric science, I did a research on the impact of the geomagnetic storm, that is the sun storm, on the electronic and navigation systems of the spacecraft. So that's when I started to love more space and to see that sometimes there's nothing like unknown failures. There's something that is happening on the atmosphere that many people or few people are not taking it into account or studying it, because we see many women that teachers, they are nurses, and so on, ignoring other or without taking any other career that can also, as a woman, you can benefit the world or the community.
Wow. Wow. So what motivated you to reach out to the community at a global level?
What motivated me to reach out at the community, it started when I was still a young girl. You know, I was born from a very disadvantaged family, and I'm number 6 in the family, like
Number 6.
Number 6, and we were 9.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was second born from my mother. I didn't do well at school, and he just stopped at grade 4, and he didn't know how to read. So the time that I was schooling at primary school, I could see that this man can't read. So let me just teach him. So I started by teaching him, so that we were like in the same level, yet he was not going to school. So I love that, because once I saw him reading, it motivated me. Oh, I can also do something much better to empower others. It started from home. Then when I was at tertiary school, like doing my master's degree, I was schooling at Botswana International University of Science and Technology. I was one of the students who volunteered to teach secondary and primary school teachers programs on the introduction to information technology, to empower them to how to use computers so that they do their work easily. So we used to use these small resources to empower others. And then this passion just grew to an extent that because I have background on the space science technology, because I told you earlier that I wanted to know exactly that why plane crashes. When the plane crashes, it will touch me because you find that a loss of life, lose a lot, loss of life. Then what is the reason behind? So that's when now I started to apply for United Nations Space for Women mentorship program. I applied to be one of the mentors. So then I was accepted. Then I was doing the mentorship program for 2 years, since 2020 to 2022. And I also not only focusing on the United Nations, I was focusing on globally, whosoever want to be mentored, I was mentoring. And I ended up this year, early this year, January, I've registered an NGO or foundation that I called GoToSpace. This GoToSpace Foundation is going to empower the community. We are going to teach, train people, more especially focusing on the youth and this primary school, because this primary junior levels, there's a need for them to be powered at that age, because that's where now they will start to know exactly what they want to do. So this program will start very soon after the launch, and that's motivated me to grow global and networking, sharing ideas with others, learning from others, and also driving change in the world, because this world doesn't belong to any individual person. It also belongs to us, to me. I have to take action and also solve challenges where I can. So
Brilliant, brilliant. How exciting. So what do you do to constantly challenge your underlying beliefs and assumptions?
what I do, I focus on the goals. What do I really want to achieve? Sometimes you find that there are challenges, but these challenges, I just take them as opportunities.
Right.
Like I told you that sometimes you can lack something, but the more you put yourself into it, you end up learning, you end up sharing, like volunteer, because sometimes to volunteer, you volunteer because sometimes you don't have any resource that you can use yourself. But let's in an organization, like giving example for United Nations or any organization that is in my country that offers that volunteerism, you just go there to be part of the system. While you are part of the system, you are part of the system that is learning. You empower yourself plus empowering others. The skills that you gain from there, you share it with others. That's what I normally do. And I also make sure that I become as strong or bold enough to drive the challenges or to achieve the targeted goals, and to be part of this team of the world that drive change.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You've learned something that some people never grasp, and that is there's the learning in the giving, right? So the more that you give, and when you volunteer and when you help others, you're actually gaining so much more than you ever anticipated. And I think it, a lot of people never really learn that valuable opportunity. So it's really a
That
gift.
And also sometimes you find that even challenging jobs, I take challenging jobs, I take risk like in the challenging environment, because it also make you to think critical, because once you think critical, you expand your knowledge, you even exercise your brain to think, in a good manner, rather than just sitting and without thinking or without taking any action. So I also love challenging jobs or challenging environments.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. I love the fact that you helped your brothers and sisters along the way too. That's awesome. How do you see the future based on your initiative?
From right now, because I see the world in 5 or 20 years, or by 2020s, I see them like enjoying space, because I'm focusing on the space and STEM program. Because you see nowadays countries that that had less information or knowledge on space, they are coming up because we share knowledge, even by in networking of developed and developing countries, networking of space countries that are already in the space environment, they are also networking with non-space environment countries. So we are enjoying and we are leading. As I told you earlier that I have registered GoToSpace. This GoToSpace in 2020, in 2030, I just want to see many 100,000 students and other youth and other elders well educated on that with that program. So I see everyone be covered with the advanced technology, not only space, but advanced technology that is aligned with the 21st century and the fourth industrial revolution. Because the world is driven by technology. Without technology, we can't do much. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd almost add to that and say innovation, right? Because sometimes, you know, sometimes innovation can be simple things that are can make a huge change. So do you have role models?
Yes, I do have role models. My first role model is my parents, because when we grew up, we were told, or they taught us how to share and love each other. Like I told that we were 9, but still now we love each other. We work as a team. So team spirit and love, the spirit of love started from home. So the other role model, academic role model, is that the Yuri Gagarin, because when I was young girl, I saw the picture for Yuri Gagarin, the first man who went into space. I said, wow, I want also to be in space or to be an astronaut. So that motivated me as a role model. And I also, because I'm now in a global arena, I was vowing Honorable the late Nelson Mandela, the way he took his country from his looking at history and the way he was and up to that level, it really encourages me that, you know, you have to be bold enough to drive your goals, no matter what challenges come across. And that's what motivated me to be like him or following the way he did things. The other one on the United Nations, because I volunteered for United Nations Office for Outer Space for Women, is Honorable Kofi Annan, because I was vowing that how can he, I mean, how did he go there? And even sometimes when he speaks, I'll listen how he is like contributing to the world, because I remember one time he said, you know, by focusing only in your country, you are selfish. So I could see that if I can focus on my nation, focus maybe on the family only without sharing the knowledge with others, my knowledge is needed out there, I'll be selfish. So these are people that motivated me to be myself today. And I thank God for that, because if it wasn't them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even like sharing with you or knowing you. So I'm glad that they are my role models.
Wow, that's great. And let me just say that, you know, the way that your parents told you to share and love and take care of each other, that is so huge that, you know, some families never, you know, teach your children that. And I applaud your parents for the human being that they've, you know, helped create with you, right? So you're making a big difference, and that's awesome. That's very awesome. Do you have any advice for the world?
Yes, I can say to all women and girls, or to anyone, that they must live their dreams. So sometimes you find that you have the dreams and you'll be boiling inside, because some people, they have fear factor of, if I talk or if I share my experiences with the world, maybe they'll laugh at me, or they'll say, who are you, because you don't have a title. But it's not that. As long as you are living, you are on the world or living in the world. So you have to take action. You have to share. You are also important. So as long as you are a living person, we are important. We have to take care of our environment together, because one or few people can do much. We also need you on board. Thank you.
Very true, very true. And I really believe in manifestation. If you dream it, if you think it, if you write it, if you speak it, you know, everything will start to align for that. And I applaud you for being able to do that. So I have one last question that I want to ask you. And what I'd like you to do is just take a bit of a pause here, and just take a moment, close your eyes. You've been fighting for things you believe in. So please share a story where you were a warrior of the light.
Yes, I am a warrior of the light because, like I said, ever since I grew up, I wanted to share my light with people. I started sharing my light with my brother and sharing that light at the community, at local level in my country, and also sharing at the international level where I was a mentor for the Space for Women at the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, Space for Women Network program. So what I did is that as I said earlier, that I am a multi-award winning person. It's not that I'm winning the award. I am bold enough to share the light that I have with the community or with different people globally, because I've been invited by the Islamic Scientific Cultural Organization sometimes to share my experiences with the women when they were launching their Space for Women program launch. I'm also invited in the Africa programs or Africa workshops, international workshops and conferences on the space science technology, on the women empowerment. That's what I am doing, and I'm the light. I'm a warrior of the light of the world. Thank you.
Oh, I love that, Basuti. I love that. Well, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. I think you're brilliant. Keep on doing what you're doing. We need more women in STEM, more women in space. So I love what you're creating and the work that you're doing. So, you know, you should be grateful for your parents every day, the optimism and the ability to learn and create. So I applaud you. So thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, darling.
Thank you.
Oops. Hang on a second here.